Okay, so welcome back again. Now, for this particular video, which is all about audio and different editing techniques involved in that, I've actually decided to grab a snippet from one of the other videos I'm doing, which are more of a screen capture type thing rather than the green screen. Now, this involves all sorts of extra problems like lip syncing and stuff like that, so it can get pretty hairy pretty fast in there. So I figured to show you the basics of audio, it was probably easier for me to grab one of the screen capture type videos that I'm doing, which is what you're actually watching right now anyway. Now, this particular one was the green screen part of this course, and I'm going to show you some different parts where there's some mistakes on here that I need to fix and how I actually go about fixing them. So the first thing we're going to cover is differences in volume. Now, when you're recording stuff, especially if it's two separate pieces of film, you'll find that the audio isn't always of the same level. Now, this can be a problem because obviously someone can be listening to this and all of a sudden you start shouting, they're going to throw their headphones out of their ears and run away screaming. So the way that we can do this is we can actually make it so that we can level all the different volumes. Now, looking at this particular track, I can see that I obviously have two tracks here. One of these is my main track of me talking, and the other one is actually my system audio, so that when I'm playing the video in the background, you can hear what's going on my computer. Now, you can see this looks crazy loud compared to the rest, but let's just go in there and see what the difference is. Behind and actually click play. How to set it all up and how to do all the editing. Now, you can hear that jumps up a lot. Now, there's a very easy way to fix this. All we have to do is actually select the different tracks that we want to be similar, and we can come up to the audio here and click it. Again, if it's not here, click on more and it'll be down in this drop down, and then we can actually click on enable volume leveling. Now, if I just click that, you'll see what happens to the different spikes. Okay, you can see that it's actually dragged it all down to pretty much the same. Now, if I just click that and press play again, so if I just go behind and actually click play, how to set it all up and how to do all the editing and everything as well. It's still a little bit loud, but it's a lot better than it was. Now, I can either mess around with this manually, which I will show you in a second, or you can actually change the variation. Now, if the difference was really extreme, you can click on the high volume and it will change it accordingly. And if it was only a tiny amount of difference, then you can click on the low and it will change it accordingly. Now, I'm going to try it on the high, see if it will do it for me without me having to manually do anything. Let's pop it just here and click play. Close and a camera far behind. So if I just go behind and actually click play, how to set it all up and how to do all the editing and everything. That's a lot better. Now, if I wanted to actually make it even more so, I'll show you how you can select just the certain part and you can actually make it. Now, you can actually do more audio edits manually. So I'm going to show you how you can select that and make that happen. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the beginning of our piece that we know is a little bit too loud, and then I'm going to drag and select all the way to the end here. Now, it's important to note that when you've got a selection, whatever you do will affect every single track. So we've only got two tracks on the go here at the moment, but if I click anything at all, then it will affect them both. The way to stop this happening is to actually lock the track that you don't want to be affected. Now, because I'm going to do two different things here, I'm actually going to lock the track with my system audio on it first so it doesn't get affected. And then as you can see this here, I've obviously got some sort of pickup on my microphone, and that's probably what's making it even louder because I'm actually getting two versions of it. So all I'm going to do here is simply go up, make sure I'm on audio, scroll down, and I'm going to click silence. Now, you see what's happened, it's added these little circles which are audio points, and it's actually dropped the volume right down to nothing. So if I go back here again now, click play. So if I just go behind and actually click play, how to set it all up and how to do all the editing then. Now I've only got the system audio, so I haven't got that extra piece. Now, I still think that's a little bit too loud, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually unlock the track with the system audio on it. I'm going to go back and select this volume again. And then there's a couple of ways you can do this. Now, I can either manually drag and drop this here, which takes the volume up and down, but that's the whole channel. Or I can click volume down and it'll only affect the part that I've actually selected. Now, you can see it's affecting that top channel as well on this, but I'm actually not too bothered about that because we already silenced that out. But if I wanted to, I could lock that and make sure that didn't happen, but I'm fine with that. So now I'm going to just click again and click play. So if I just go behind and actually click play,
how to set it all up and how to do all the editing and everything as well.
That's much more manageable. It's not booming in my face anymore now. So you can see that we've actually taken out one of the tracks we didn't need, and then we've taken the volume down on the track we do want, but it was too loud. Now let's find something else that's wrong with this, now that you know how you can set up the different volume leveling. Now many times when you're recording, you're going to make mistakes, or sometimes you'll even get some sort of feedback or pop on the mic, in which case you need to try and get rid of it. Now I'm lucky with my setup because I don't get the buzzing noise that you get with like a cheap microphone, and if you followed my course then you'll have the good quality equipment too for not a lot of money. That means that you don't have to worry about this problem. But if you do have a buzz on your microphone, you can get rid of it really easily right within Camtasia. Now it's hard for me to show you how to do this on here because I don't have any audio with that problem, but the fact is all you need to do is select the track that's got the problem on it in its entirety, or a selection like I just showed you, and then you literally come up to the audio and you click on enable noise removal. Now when you click that, it does this little bit of trickery pokery and it gets rid of all the buzz for you. 9 times out of 10 this is all you will need to get rid of that buzz. Okay, so we've managed to knock down different volumes. Now let's go and have a look at actually replacing some audio if you've made a mistake somewhere. Like I say, this is much harder when you're using people on screen. It's actually easier to just take that line again when you know you messed it up. But if for some reason you needed to do this, you could apply this to the green screen technique, but I'm going to show you on here because like I say, it's far easier. Okay, so now we're going to find a piece that we can actually replace. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. We're just going to redo this intro to show you how you can actually replace an entire part of audio if you need to. So welcome back. In this video I'm going to actually show you how you can do some different cropping and resizing techniques. Okay, so I'm going to redo that intro there. Now all I've got to do is I've got to re-record it using this voice narration tool. Now you need to note that it's going to record everything that's coming out, so that means your system audio as well as your microphone. So I'm going to have to actually mute this piece first. So all we do is we take the part we want to silence and we select it, and then we go into audio and we click on silence and it knocks it right the way down. And now I'm going to redo this entire intro. So I'm just going to double click on the beginning, click on voice narration, and then we're going to go and make sure we've got the right microphone. Now I do this because I have an external microphone called a Snowball mic, and this is very good and I recommend it in the other part of the course. But if I don't make sure that it's chosen, it might well use my webcam mic, which will come out really tinny and really bad. So I'm just going to click on audio setup, and it is selected already, but if it wasn't, then I could just use this drop down and choose the one that I want to use. Click on next and then finish. You can actually do this little exercise here to get the volume right, but it tends to be okay anyway. But all you would do is click on this, say a little piece of text, and it'll actually choose the volume for you, and then click finish. And then what I can do now is I can hit start recording, and I can actually record a new piece for this start. This means that if I messed it up, or if I changed something, or if I just wanted to add something in somewhere, then I can do so. It also means if I've got an entire video where I want to actually narrate what I did now, rather than having to do it at the same time as actually recording, it means that I could come back and do this now. So I'm going to hit start recording. So welcome back to this video, and in this I'm going to be showing you some audio techniques based on this cropping video that I already did. And also show you how you can make it look like you've got more than one camera. Okay, now stop recording, and it'll ask me to actually save it. You can see I've done a few little pieces here already, so I'm just going to put new intro. And it'll pop it in there for me. Now what I can do now is quickly tidy this up, so I'm just going to press play until it gets to the actual beginning. Okay, so we can see that's about there. Now if I zoom in, you can see where the waves actually start, and I'm just going to take that, drag that, and I'm going to lock these other ones just so I know what's what, and then I'm going to actually click to cut. There we go. Now get to the end of it and do the same again. Now you can hear the actual system audio coming through, which is why I said it's important to make sure you silence it down. Now if you just listen to this quickly, hang on. I already did. And also you can see how it was coming through, so that's why I had to silence it. So I know that just there is where that starts. So if I take that, drag that to there, I can either cut it, I can take it to there, I can hit S to split it and delete it, or I can just drag up to the point that I want it to finish because it's the end of an audio clip. Now what I can do is go in here, hit play. So welcome back to this video, and in this I'm going to be showing you some audio techniques based on this cropping video that I already did, and also show you how you can make it look like you've got more than one. Now you can see that I've actually got a different intro in there now. Now it sounds a little bit different to the other one because it's been recorded at a different time. So we can use the leveling technique to do that. So if I click on the audio again, I'll unlock this, and we will take both of these here, and I'll click on the volume leveling. You can see it's changed the peaks for us. Now if we click play again,
that I already did, and also show you how you can make it look
much better match, and now we can use both those pieces even though they were recorded at very different times. Now let's find something else we can do and fix on this particular audio track. There we go, there's a nice big breath there that I don't really want to be in there. So what we can do with this is we can actually take this. Let's have a listen again so you can catch it.
green.
Now I took a nice big intake of breath there. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. I can either take this and select it and just silence the whole thing down by clicking on silence here. And now if I go back,
Screen. So let's start straight.
I haven't got that big breath there. Or I could do it, if I just undo that, or I could do it where if it was a slightly bigger gap or maybe the end of the word went into that breath, I can actually take it, select it and drag into the middle of where the breath is. And I can click on fade out. Now when I do this, what it does is it actually does a tapered effect. Now what this has added is some audio points here. I can actually mess around with these now. So if I press play first,
Screen. So
you can hear that I've actually caught the end of the breath still. So I can actually drag this audio point, drag it along to a point where I don't think it's going to be affecting it anymore.
Screen. So let's start.
It's still there slightly. Let's drag it ever so slightly more.
Screen. So let's start straight.
That sounds more natural than going dead silent in that particular case. There are times where the silent thing will work perfectly, like if you've just coughed on screen or something like that, then you can just knock the cough out completely. You don't need it to actually fade in, fade out. So as you can see, it doesn't matter what you've done in your actual take, you can go in and you can tidy it up and make it very, very professional. Now something else audio-wise that makes things sound fantastic is having a backing track or special effects in certain places. Now this is nice and simple to do. Now personally I like the audio track to always be at the bottom of the entire composition. That's just my preference, it doesn't have to be. So what I do is I right click on track 1 and click on insert track below, and then I've got this nice clean track that I can put my audio on. Now if I just go to the clip bin, I might well have some stuff in here. No, I haven't. So let's import some media. And I've got a bunch of stuff here already, so I'm just going to grab one of these. Let's go for Happy Groovy Power Pop. And what this does is it pops it into our clip bin, and then I can just select it, drag it and drop it onto my composition. And then pop that there. Let's just get our head to there and press play.
So welcome back to this video, and in this I'm going to be
Now obviously that's nice and cheery, but it's also very, very loud. So what we can do now is click on the audio. Now in this case we want the whole thing to come down, so I'm just going to hover over the line, click, and I'm going to drag it down to take the volume right down. And then take it back to the beginning again and click play.
So welcome back to this video, and in this I'm going to be showing you some audio technique.
Now it's still a little bit loud maybe, so we'll just drag it down a little bit more. We can also use the buttons up here if we wanted to. If we don't want to drag, we can actually use the volume up and down here to get a bit more control. And then we'll take it back to the beginning one more time.
So welcome back to this video, and in this I'm going to be showing you some audio.
So that's perfect. We've got a nice little tune underneath. We've got the audio up there. We can always mess around with the levels to make the volume of our speaking louder if we want, or the audio less. It's up to us. But now we've got a nice little backing track under there. It's very easy to do and adds a little flavour. Now the only thing is, don't overuse this, because if you put audio tracks behind everything, it'll actually make it quite difficult for people to hear what you're saying. Now in my own videos I add audio tracks usually when it's a nice little intro or something like that. But if I want them to really listen to what I'm saying, then I tend to leave these out, because I feel that it's actually taken away from it slightly. Plus you also have to remember that some people may find it hard to hear you talking over the top of an audio track all the time. So it's not always wise to put it in there, but it does add a little bit of flavour when you do need it. By taking all these different techniques with the fading in and fading out, adding audio tracks and even replacing things if you've messed them up, you can make sure that your audio sounds really professional and really clear. Combined with the equipment that I've told you should go out and get, you'll find that you'll get absolutely killer results every single time.